afternoon. Speaker of Parliament expresses concerns over police information centralization, and also coming up this afternoon, Institute for Energy Security project marginal reduction in prices of gas oil and LPG in the first pricing window of July. And on the foreign front, France arrests 1,304th night rioting after teenage boy killed. We've got details of these and many more coming up in the next 60 minutes if you spend your time with me. Now, thanks for your time. On to our very first story. Two gun-wielding men who have been suspected of spearheading a shooting incident between two feuding Kukumba factions at Lugni in the Nanumba South District of the Northern Region have been arrested by a joint police military patrol team. The two were picked up around 11 p.m. at their hideout with two AK-47 assault rifles and several rounds of ammunition. On Friday, June 30, one person sustained gunshot wounds following a shootout between the Namuk and Bayam families of Kukumba extraction in a renewed chieftaincy dispute at Lugni. Well, let's delve deeper into this very incident, and our Northern Regional correspondent, Christopher Marco, joins us via Zoom. Good afternoon, Christopher.
Good afternoon, George.
Christopher, what is the situation in the area as we speak now?
Yes, so some 24 hours after the shooting incident in Lungi, yesterday we reported that some calm has been restored due to the presence of the joint police military team that was deployed to the area. But as we speak, George, some tension is brewing again in the Lungi community because after yesterday's incident and the visibility of the police security in the area, this morning the residents woke up to another incident of some tensions in the area. So as we speak, the entire community is deserted.
Christopher, we understand that hundreds of residents have fled the Lugni community. Where are they now?
Yes, some of them have moved to neighboring communities such as Bandai and the Wulensi community, which is the district capital of the Nanumba South district. And like I said earlier, majority of the residents, especially women and children, have since fled the community yesterday.
And what is the Nanumba South District Security Council doing to restore calm in the area?
Yes, so George, yesterday the DISEC deployed some security personnel to the area to patrol the community. But this morning, it appears the patrols in the community has reduced, and because the police military visibility is no longer as it used to be yesterday, the tension continues to brew this morning. And when I checked from the district chief executive, he told me that they are going to intensify the patrols and deploy more security to the area.
Christopher, before I let you go, has the incident affected economic activities in any way?
Yes, George. This morning, most of the shops, especially business activities, did not open for residents who wanted to buy certain things to go in. And Lungi is a farming community, and in fact, it's one of the communities that produces a lot of yam in the Nanumba South district. And so people are afraid to even go to their farms to farm. So it is actually having a great impact on agricultural activities and other businesses that take place in the area. Now, one other issue has to do with transport. Now, there is a vehicle that moves from Lungi to Accra every day. Unfortunately, since yesterday, even today, those who wanted to travel outside Lungi or come into Lungi are unable to do so because the bus has ceased moving to the community. So it is actually affecting economic activities.
Thank you so much, Christopher Marco, as our Northern Regional correspondent, bringing us to speed on updates on the Lugni shooting. We are reliably informed that two gun-wielding suspects have been arrested in that regard through a joint police military operation. We'll be staying longer on this and bring you updates in our subsequent bulletins. And now let's talk oil and gas. The Institute for Energy Security, IES, says its monitoring of global fuel prices shows various changes in price of the commodities on the international fuel market. This, the IES has said, is expected to affect local market prices in Ghana for the first 2 weeks in July. Adam Yakubu joins us via phone. He is a Research, Policy and Programs Officer of the Institute for Energy Security. Adam, good afternoon. Good to have you.
Yes, good afternoon, George, and good to be on your show.
Okay. Adam, you are predicting a marginal reduction in prices of LPG and gas oil. What exactly is accounting for this for the next 2 weeks of the month July?
Yeah, so when you look at the past 2 weeks, there's been some stability in both the domestic fuel market and the international market, with the international market posing some reductions for gas oil, that is diesel, and LPG by some 2% and 3% respectively for the individual products. And so when you look at the CD performance, CD didn't really depreciate much. It did less than 1%. And so if you have international prices dropping, then without any significant depreciation of the Ghana cedi, we expect that going into the first 2 weeks in July, prices on the domestic fuel market are likely to come down marginally. Yeah.
Adam, I know consumers are so excited about this, if you ask me. And when exactly are they going to feel that reduction at the pumps?
Yeah, so the window officially should start today, but because it's a weekend, that should start from Monday. So most OMCs would have done the recalibrations by the close of evening Sunday. Then going into Monday morning, consumers would see prices reflect on the market. However, pending any policy direction by government or any market play out, this is how the market should look like going forward in the first 2 weeks in July.
Adam, there was an imminent, crisis as regards of the strike by the tanker drivers, and they've called off this very strike. When I was coming to work this morning, I passed one of the fuel outlets, and they told me that they've run out of gas, they've run out of fuel. And I'm just imagining, if they've called off the strike, why is this the case? Does it take long to, lift the tankers or something? I just want to understand.
Yeah, so there are concerns for the strike where that's the area where they go to park and lift the fuels are deplorable, and so they were registering their displeasure after several assurances by the MPA and government that the place will be taken care of. And so it might not necessarily have anything to do, but definitely they've gone on a strike. So that means that some of the areas where fuel needs to be conveyed to would have to bear with, but it might not really play out so strongly because we have the weekend for them to do the disbursement and refuel, stations that don't have the product. And so I think there are concerns earlier. It's not been today. They've had this back and forth with the MPA about the deplorable nature of the area. And I think it's about time government looks at it closely because they play a critical role in the distribution of fuel in Ghana. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Adam Yakubu. He is the Research, Policy and Programs Officer of IES. They are predicting a marginal reduction in the prices of gas oil and fuel in the first pricing window of the month of July. And away from that, the government has averted the shutdown of the supply of electricity by independent power producers after a marathon meeting on Friday. TV3 sources say the government has committed to meeting the IPPs halfway on their demands. The IPPs have, as a result, rescinded their decision to shut down as earlier announced. They have consequently issued a notice to their members to start submitting nominations to the Ghana Grid Company, GridCo, indicating their availability to provide power to the national grid. Panelists on the key point spoke about the issue.
I'm excited that we still want to help to keep Ghana switched on. I mean, it's going to cost us a lot. And I am also happy that I think in the course of the week I heard that President Mahama also made an appeal to the IPPs that they shouldn't carry out their threats, and that he also made some calls to government to, as a matter of fact, get to sit with the IPPs and renegotiate or find a way of bringing a resolution to the impasse.
Our billing system that we've had says we have 4.5 million customers, which means there are, and that's 4.5 is a mixture of commercial and residential, which then tells you that we are missing quite a very good number of people who are consuming and not paying. I will use this medium to tell the good people of Ghana, please, this exercise is more of an amnesty or a moratorium. You don't have an account, we understand. We don't have meters, you to understand. So we are putting you on a flat rate.
Okay.
The flat rate is in categories of urban, peri-urban, and rural.
Right.
Please accept your flat rate. We'll give you your account. Then through this, we would know how many meters we even need after all.
This IPP debt, how has it come by? Almost $300 million of it is money that is owed for AXA and Car Power, for diesel, heavy crude, that is being used to run their plants. So we are buying and we are not paying. Yet you are collecting tariffs. ECG is collecting tariffs. So what is ECG doing with that money? The ESLA is being collected. What are they doing with that money? Energy sector recovery levies is being collected. Why are they not paying the suppliers who have supplied almost $300 million of crude for just 2 power plants, AXA and Car Power?
Well, away from energy, the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, has urged Ghanaians to resist police and security services show of force, stating that the police is losing their friendliness to the public and must be reminded. He was reacting to the police media communication stance.
The Ghana Police Service has adopted a communication approach, limiting statements and press releases to journalists seeking answers. This approach began when the Inspector General of Police, George Akuffo-Dampare, took over the helms of affairs. Media houses are left in the dark, seeking more information and clarification. The Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, says the police approach is wrong.
The police is the closest friend to the public. Without the public, the police cannot function. They are agents for what? Maintenance of peace. And you cannot use force to maintain peace. That is why we change from Ghana Police Force to Ghana Police Service. That is yet to sink because habits die hard. This is not democracy. So we work on that one.
He says the police has no such powers to deny the citizenry information.
I have invited him together with his minister, the Minister of Interior, to my office to have some of these things. But there was even some time that we invited him twice to Parliament and he refused to show up, the IGP. So there was a time I had to send a message to His Excellency the President that I will host you in Parliament without your commanders. The IGP will not follow you. The military CDS will not follow you.
But will this communication approach not cause misinformation and speculation?
There's a statement. Usually police statements come if there's an incident, okay? However, there are gaps in the statements. For example, the one that came with respect to the Botiano incident. I mean, when I went through the statements, I had so many questions, lingering all over my mind. So if you don't have the police willing or ready to answer the follow-up questions that might culminate as a result of the statement, it becomes a very difficult situation for the media. Then they would have no option but to rely on security analysts and the likes, human rights lawyers, who were not in the thick of affairs.
Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleiman Abrahima, is, however, of the view the police approach is right.
It's been ongoing for almost, a year now? And I don't see what is really dire about that policy in terms of public access to information on policing. It appears to me that things are going well. Until perhaps there is evidence to the contrary, I think that I don't see what's wrong with the policy.
Security analyst Colonel retired Festus Abuaji also says it is wrong and unfortunate for the police to be hiding behind walls and communicating through papers. He says the police action amounts to it distancing itself from the populace, describing it as worrying, and urged the service to educate and properly train officers at the various levels to respond to local matters, as that makes them closer and accountable to the people. Evelyn Tinkma, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, if you're just tuning in, you're watching Media Live here on TV3 with me, Josh Quinn. Remember, we're live on DSTV channel 279. Now let's talk some politics. The NDC candidate for the Asin North by-election, James Gyakye Quayson, won the election on Tuesday, June 27. He's yet to be sworn in as Member of Parliament for the constituency. Guests on today's Key Point had a take on this. Take a listen.
Don't you think that a by-election would cause this route to be asphalted and all that? And I said, calm down. You see, gradually people are thinking that it should be possible for them to be thinking about assassinating their MPs if they believe that development projects nor developments have stalled in an area. Because once there is a by-election, people, the political parties will be jittery and they will want to prosecute some development. As somebody who knows the Constitution like that, how come he didn't know that if a matter is sub judice, you don't make such comment? That why do you want to vote for somebody who is on his way to jail? Who told you? Who told the president that Gyakye Quayson is on his way to jail? Is he having a private conversation with the judges? Is he not unnecessarily putting pressure on judges? Haven't we as a nation bastardized judicial independence enough?
They had no campaign message. Look, the MPP, and like I said, we were on the ground for 5 weeks. We kept going back in cycles. And every time we went there, the campaign message, the MPP, because as part of political campaigning, and again, he knows it, you try to pick intelligence on what your opponent is saying. And then you take a message to counter it. And every time the message was simple. As for Gyakye Quayson, mutu abama na mo say mabato no because if you vote for Gyakye Quayson, you have wasted your vote because we will arrest him. You could continue prosecuting him, but you would allow the common fund, which is meant for the development of Asin North, go to the people. But for 2.5 years, they have held up the common fund and deprived the people of Asin North of development.
In more news this afternoon, the Crops Research Institute, CRI, another council for scientific and industrial research, is exposing crop scientists from parts of Africa to modern ways of breeding new crop varieties that are compatible with the change in weather patterns. This will provide them with the opportunity to be more efficient in developing crop varieties that respond to the needs of farmers.
The effect of climate change on agriculture is evident in low yields. Most smallholder farmers are rather experiencing a decline in production due to unpredictable weather patterns. Scientists say the rising carbon dioxide reduces the nutrient value of most food crops. To address this, the Crop Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research have assembled rice breeders in East and West Africa to expose them on modern way of crop breeding to suit the climatic condition for food security. Dr. Maxwell Darkwa Sante is the Deputy Director of Crops Research Institute.
Breeders must be equipped with tools to develop varieties that are fit for purpose, climate-smart varieties in the current environment. Because if normally we develop the lines, they are not varieties, we test them across the country to see whether they will grow well across the country. If you tested the varieties 30 years ago, the varieties have the environment has changed. Yeah, so this is to equip the breeders with modern tools so that they can come out with varieties in a faster, more efficient way.
Lead researcher at the International Rice Research Institute in India, Dr. Sanjay Katia, said adopting new technology in breeding is important in tackling food security and climate change.
There are so many new things are coming up now. New technologies, new innovations. There are ways to develop the variety faster than what we used to do it in last 60 years. So last 60 years we used to take 10 to 12 years to 15 years to develop one variety. Now to tackle this global climate change, we need the varieties very fast, and therefore we are bound to use the technologies. And national partners need to adopt the new technology, and we are here to teach them. This is good for the national food security as well as the global food security.
The 4-day training brought together crop scientists from Ghana, India, Tanzania, Madagascar, Senegal, and Nigeria.
Away from agriculture, the Office of the National Chief Imam has reiterated its commitment to lending support to the United Nations in areas including peace, human rights protection, and crime protection for a prosperous nation. The National Chief Imam, through the spokesperson, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Shaibu, emphasized that without peace, there will be no development. The UN Resident Coordinator, Charles Abani, together with some diplomats, paid a courtesy call on the National Chief Imam to urge him to continue his exemplary duties of maintaining peace in the country. According to the UN Resident Coordinator, the United Nations was born out of conflict, pain and war, and therefore the quest for peace must be supported at all levels. He called on the citizenry to live in harmony and tolerate each other's views as the 2024 elections approach.
At a time like this, we need that example to even go higher. This means peaceful dialogue, it means tolerance, it means avoiding the idea of weaponizing difference in order to capture votes, or the ideas of spreading falsehoods or hate speech in a bid to divide the country. People can have their political opinion and can choose who they want to vote for without fear of persecution.
The Chief Imam, through the spokesperson, explained that their outfit is ready to support any cause geared towards enhancing peace.
We should all appreciate ourselves for our own mutual enrichment and so on, and then for the support that we need to give each other to rid this world of the kind of hate and the violence that we see prevailing in the world.
A certificate was presented to the National Chief Imam in recognition of his immense role in consolidating Ghana's peace. And now, after witnessing 5 years of transportation challenges in the northern part of Ghana, Valerie decided to make an impact in the community. In an attempt to solve the mobility needs of her people, she took advantage of a commercial opportunity by designing an e-mobility device, locally made electronic bicycles, to mainly support women entrepreneurs in the north. Nanekia Mensah Brampa tells us more.
So here in the Central Business District, rush hour always triples travel time. Hence, two wheels are coming in more handy. It is a common sight in the Western world with its contribution to the green economy, and it's gradually entering the Ghanaian market. But how ready are businesses and individuals for the e-evolution? Let's find out. Talk about passion, turn business, and that is the story of Valerie Labi.
And spent a lot of time at a community level working with different households, entrepreneurs, business people, market women, and everyone kept coming up with the same issue, that transport was expensive, fuel prices kept rising, it wasn't reliable, and they didn't have something that really suited their micro-mobility needs. So that kind of triggered something in me to start looking at what are the opportunities to look at mobility differently.
The story has moved from the north to the epicenter of business, Accra, after the first local invention. Together with her team in 2020, she has seen an evolution from their very first design.
And this is like our first ever attempt at this domestic journey. So this is like a converted mountain bike. So this was to allow us to understand what we could do initially domestically, what we had to develop over time, and then also just have a general understanding of what was also available in the market. So this bike was something we bought domestically in the market, and then we sourced out the battery and motor components, and then we were able to run some tests on them.
For Valerie, the dream is not to only accelerate climate-friendly mobility solutions, but also create employment opportunities for individuals.
We have a backlog of delivery riders who want to join us, and the important thing for us has been two things. When you're talking about affordability, we've made sure that we break down the payments into weekly payments, so you actually subscribe to own over 18 or 24 months. So that's how we've tried to make it affordable. The second thing for us is we don't just give you the bike. We give you the bike with jobs, delivery jobs. So that means that you earn an income and you can pay off the bike from that.
Isaac Nunu has been in the delivery business for the past 2 years. He says the e-bike has enabled him save a colossal amount. While most individuals can acquire an e-bike at $2,000, he currently is enjoying his machine on a higher purchase.
I'm paying 300 cedis per week for the next 2 years. A week I get about 1,000, 2,005 in a week. I give them their 300. The 1,000 I take it from my house for my family.
For the Mobility Group, contributing to find solutions to Ghana's transport challenges whilst advocating for environmental conservation to address issues of climate change remain a priority.
And in transport, this is the biggest opportunity for us to transition to a sustainable way of how we move and making sure that we're responsible with this. So I think for me, from a climate perspective, the important thing is if you're using an electric vehicle, you're not emitting much carbon. You're actually avoiding the carbon emissions, which makes it more sustainable, it makes it more affordable, and long term it's better for all of us.
60 e-bikes with batteries that run for 70 kilometers per hour have so far been assembled here in Ghana and is expected to serve as a prototype for full local manufacturing and assembling to begin.
So now we know we can have the capability at scale to do locally welded frames, locally welded seats, and a number of other elements of the vehicle. So it's really important for us to get around 85% of the vehicles that we get on the road actually made in Ghana. So to complete the localization will take about 18 to 24 months. Yeah.
To accelerate the shift to more accessible and sustainable transport options, local development and assembly, as well as manufacturing of these more sustainable vehicles, will be critical. Government wants to reduce the country's carbon emissions by 15% by 2030, and electric mobility obviously offers high potential for convenience, speed without consuming any fuel, but some argue high purchase costs. The arguments would continue, but if you ask me, looking at all the hustle and bustle in the Central Business District, Accra, moving in and out, fuel prices seesawing here and there, the choice is yours. E-evolution has come to stay. Nana Ikuya Mensah Brampa, 3 Business, Accra.
You're still watching Midday Live here on TV3. We're going for a quick commercial break. We're back with more news. Stay with us.
We bet the Lotto Ghana Padia and one they were 539 direct, the best Lotto game in Ghana. You will hear me say, Ubenya with solid magic numbers. A free barco, equasi 39 mo.
Wow! Director enough! Winning no each show!
Abran Hedino, what the 2 Ghana cities pay, and a 2 you. And to also call *446# across all networks. Ucha direct one. Obedi 20 times Sika Udikayeno. Ucha direct tour. Obedi 40 times Sika Udikayeno. And a direct train so Ebema with the 400 times.
A fuck! We no eat shock!
Kwame so Enedino.
A fuck!
We no eat choke. Hey! Direct tuna mi kana fama me. We no dey choke ampa. They were 539 direct. A fuck.
We no eat choke. Eat choke. Eat choke.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathy Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Ah. Chesena mi ankasa me period no say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na mkwan point no mo hwe me mogya mu no mo hwe bibia na so mo medu me fae no ene ma won kra mienu kofro kwa na mkwan mu a eba
and everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato.
Hello.
Hey, ohwehwe what chair okay a free bra wo di end point what dance am me call you no me Joseph Semana nkoyie and person na my emre nyina na magina sebema na me no be fear for there
You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch homeopathy clinic. I'm free.
The 3FM Baby Fair is here. Parents, make it a family affair with fun photo booths for family shoots, kids arena for the kids to have fun, and so much excitement. This fair will be a one-stop shop for all childcare products, clothes, toys, child development products, and so much more for every child of every age. 3FM Baby Fair on the 7th July, 8th July, and 9th July 2023 at Marina Mall, Airport City, Accra. To be a part of the fair and exhibit your products and services as a vendor, please call 0244 405027 right now. The 3FM Baby Fair, your one-stop shop for all your childcare products. The 3FM Baby Fair is proudly brought to you by Marina Mall. 3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Kitchen Wars.
The most anticipated cooking reality show is making its return to your screen. It is Kitchen Wars Season 2. Old school alumni get ready to compete for yet another epic showdown. Which alumni will take over from WAS?
The school that came in first place, West Africa.
Get your ladles out, sharpen your knives, and be ready to battle it out. Interested alumni must be in a group of 6 to participate. Simply send your details 0531 906 281 to register and stand the chance of being the best alumni in the kitchen. It's Kitchen Wars Season 2. Kitchen Wars, your school feed cook.
Kitchen Wars, coming soon on TV3.
Brought to you by Gino Tomato Mix.
And Napa Foods, say Napa, Enye Ono Soko.
We need to serve our customers by driving them safely to their destinations. Madam, yeah.
Commitment is their pride. They put in a lot of effort to take you to your destination.
No, I'm not going anywhere. God, you said it. You said you work through men. This one, he's working through women. What does that mean? Please, I want to be a taxi driver.
But they hate tricks.
You don't even have anything in your bag. Chewing gum. Oh, relax. You see, I can't find my wallet. You, take my way. Yes, I will.
Catch all the excitement on Mama Taxi. Mama Taxi.
Mama Taxi, new season, shows Saturdays at 4:30 p.m.
Welcome back from the break. In more news this afternoon, the Ghana Shippers Authority is sensitizing shippers and exporters to navigate complexities in the international trade within the African Continental Free Trade Area. This would enable exporters to make more informed decisions, improve supply chain management, and reduce cost and risk.
Stakeholders like the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, airline operators, terminal handlers, Freight Forwarders Association, logistics and transport entities benefit from trade agreements to overcome obstacles and drive national development, economic growth, job creation, diversification, and innovation.
The benefits of exports require sustainable and inclusive policies and strategies. The government has taken measures such as trade agreements and other export financing arrangements to support and promote exports. Despite these efforts, obstacles still remain, and these impede the trade potential.
The head of Ghana's preferential trade agreement at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Stephen Mixon, encouraged stakeholders to utilize value chain policies.
We took advantage of this new initiative to now close on those outstanding issues. On subsidies, for instance, how do you know that the goods that are coming to your space has been subsidized? Because if they are subsidized and coming to your market space to compete with you, you're already losing.
Some exporters stress the need for education on the AFCFTA protocols.
So what we have seen today is a way of sensitizing those who are into export business or those who want to go into export business, both in school and both who are already on the ground, for them to know the rules and regulations that are there.
All the attacks on the system to play their part, and everybody will be okay, and we should be okay.
The United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, says building women's export capacity is essential to raising living standards and eradicating poverty in the country. For the UNDP's Assistant Secretary General and Director General Bureau for Africa, Ahuna Azionwuka Onochi, the UN agency will continue to build and improve the export capacity of women entrepreneurs to take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area.
UNDP Ghana has been following up on some Ghanaian women entrepreneurs who were supported and are on the verge of exporting to other African countries. The support included the provision of exhibition platforms, the connection of these women entrepreneurs to buyers, and education on standardization. These women in cross-border trade in Africa will be well positioned to tap into regional export destinations and use regional markets as stepping stones for expanding into other markets.
I think we have here an SDG champion, because I see all the ingredients for the concept of the SDGs, you know. The fact that, you know, they're recruiting a lot of women. I know that she will go places. For instance, she's going to start exporting, taking advantage of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. That's really important to understand that there is a bigger market than Ghana.
One of the women entrepreneurs spoke about the impact of the program.
We have employed a lot of women. We work with a lot of women farmers in the Bono regions. So it's been a journey, but in all, it's been a very good one. UNDP supported us recently to Kenya with the Africa Continental Free Trade Area and GEPA initiative. So we were able to be part of that exhibition in Kenya, sell our products, and also find new markets. So the idea of UNDP coming in, we think is going to help us so much, because we can, you know, really enter the African market, which is a priority for us.
And our Petroleum Commission has emphasized its commitment to increasing job role localization in the industry. Chief Executive Officer of the Commission, Herbert Fable Jr., assured the Commission will continue to put in place policies and measures to promote the development of Ghanaians in the required skill set needed in the particular industry. The Petroleum Upstream Job Role Localization Policy is aimed at providing job opportunities and sustainable employment for trained and skilled local workforce. A Ghanaian is to be assigned to any expatriate employed as a successor. This, according to CEO of Petroleum Commission, Herbert Fable Jr., is to ensure skills and technology transfer.
We need to deliberately train our own people so that over a period of time, they will take over the expatriate roles, and by that, the cost of oil and gas production in Ghana will go down. We will continue to give more work permits. It will be helping unemployment in the upstream industry so that we can collectively share in this success that has come. So we share it with you, Ghana Immigration Service.
Currently, Ghana's upstream sector employs 4,147 people, made up of 3,759 Ghanaians and 388 expatriates. With the 3,759 Ghanaians employed in the upstream petroleum sector, 3,088 are males and 671 are females. Deputy Minister of Energy Herbert Krapper observed Ghanaians can only appreciate the invested efforts when they witness a significant rise in the number of Ghanaians employed in the upstream petroleum sector.
The account of what the Ghanaian has taken directly and indirectly from this sector should be better than what it is today. We have invested significantly to this end, and we will continue to do so in building capacity of the Ghanaian in engineering, geosciences, modern technology, and welding. And the result of that investment is the moderate-sized pool of Ghanaian skilled personnel available and job-ready for the upstream sector.
Well, let's do a short Well, let's know of what you make of stories that have been aired so far. Your views and contributions are extremely welcome. Just go onto our website, s3news.com. Maternal and child health has seen a significant stride in the Sechere East District of the Ashanti region over the past 4 years. Health officials in the district have attributed it to an improved feeding project introduced by the World Vision, which targets reducing malnutrition in children under 5 and ensuring pregnant women have safe deliveries.
Cases of malnutrition and maternal mortality were common in the Sechere East District. Alarmed by the situation, the government of Ghana, with support from the World Vision, World Bank, and Japan government, introduced the Improved Feeding Project in 2019 to address the issue as part of interventions to meet the Sustainable Development Goal 3 target of improving maternal and child health.
In terms of death related to malnutrition has reduced. In terms of knowledge of mothers on how to improve the feeding of children within the first 1,000 days, which is the critical age for the development of a child. If a child will be active, if a child will have the development of the brain fully developed, it's at that critical stage. If the child will build the right immunity, it's at that critical stage. And from our engagement with the Ghana Health Service in this district, they have indicated that in terms of disease incidence and the reported cases that they used to have within the past 3 years has drastically reduced. What did we do? What we did was to just introduce new ways of improving the feeding of children so that the children will have right nutrition.
The District Director of Health Services, Dr. Justice Ofori Amwa, was impressed with the gains so far. He was, however, worried about the increase in anemia among pregnant women in the area.
The anemia among pregnant women is on the high, and it's a cause for worry, especially at week 36, as mentioned. And if at week 36 a mother is anemic, chances are that during birth we can go into complications. And therefore we advise and encourage mothers that as soon as you become pregnant, do well to report to the hospital so that we can put measures in place for you to have a boost in your HB level to reduce any maternal deaths.
The project sought to improve feeding practices among women of reproductive age, including pregnant and lactating women, as well as children under 5 years.
Wow. A reminder, you're watching Media Live on TV3. We are live on DSTV channel 279. Director General of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Professor Samuel Kofi Dampare says government and the private sector must support the commission to develop a nuclear technology for industrialization. Speaking to the media at the Scientific Innovations Dialogue in Accra, Professor Dampare observed that developing nuclear programs can lead to food security. We'll bring you this very particular story in our subsequent bulletins. And now the Presbyterian Church of Ghana has given indications that it will enhance the provision of its social intervention project. After the government, the church is Ghana's second largest provider of educational infrastructure and it ranks third in terms of healthcare.
Church Anniversary Lecture is the first of a series held as part of the Presbyterian Church's 195th anniversary. It featured the historical evolution of the Presbyterian Church and its impact on the physical, spiritual, and mental development of its congregant, as well as national transformation.
Are spreading everywhere with the gospel and the tradition of the Presbyterian tradition, and people are, if you like, responding positively to it. We want to say that this church is poised to build on the past, and we thank God for the leadership and for the membership of the church.
The Ghana Presbytery Chair of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, Reverend Dr. Abraham Nana Opare Kwache, touted the invaluable contribution of the church to the education and health sectors.
We have over 30 secondary schools, and then when we talk about the universities, we have a Presbyterian University, we have the Akrofit Crystalline Institute, and then we have colleges of education, 5 of them. And so in the area of education, the church has played a very significant role. The church is also the third largest contributor of healthcare in this country. coming third after the Ghana government and then the Catholic Church, and with quite a number of hospitals spread all over the country.
The religious body says it is confident in helping build a country anchored on strong foundations and godly principles.
Director General of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, Professor Samuel Boakye Dampare, says government and the private sector must support the commission to develop its nuclear technology for industrialization.
The Ghana Atomic Energy Commission hosted this year's celebration of the Scientific Innovations Dialogue to commemorate the Day of Scientific Renaissance in Africa. Africa's Scientific Renaissance celebration was instituted by the African Union in 1987. It brought together experts, researchers, scientists, and policymakers to prescribe solutions to critical areas of the economy. Director General of GAEC, Professor Samuel Boakye, said developing nuclear technology could lead to food security.
One is to create the awareness that with science we can achieve much when it comes to economic transformation. And when you are talking about this, then you don't have to leave nuclear technique or nuclear technology out. For nuclear technology, we can use it for even power generation when we are talking about nuclear power. And then if you have this nuclear power, when it comes to industrialization, you know that you can get the base load to do your work and all that.
He also observed that the development of atoms has the potential to fight several cancers.
When we have the scientists here, and the Ghanaian scientists are able, they are capable of doing so many things. We only need support to be able to do that. You know, we mentioned our laboratories where we have to refurbish our laboratories, get the modern labs, the state-of-the-art equipment and all that. If we're able to get this support, then we can help Ghana a lot.
The celebration was on the theme, harnessing the power of the atom for economic transformation through science and technology.
Sport is next with Yao Fusulabi. After the break, stay with us.
To Ghana Padia and one they were 539 direct, the best lotto game in Ghana. You will hear say Ubenya with solid magic numbers. A free bako, equasi 39.
Wow! Director enough winning no each show.
Abran Hedino, what the 2 Ghana cities play and a 2 you. And to also call *446# across all networks. Ultra direct one. Obedi 20 times Sika Udikayeno. Ultra direct tour. Obedi 40 times Sika Udikayeno. And a direct train so Ebema with the 400 times.
Ah fuck! We didn't know each shot.
Kwame so Enedino.
Ah fuck!
We didn't know each shot. Hey! Direct to me China farmer me. We didn't know the choke camper. They were 539 direct. Ah fuck!
We didn't know each
Ready.
The 3FM Baby Fair is here. Parents, make it a family affair with fun photo booths for family shoots, kids arena for the kids to have fun, and so much excitement.
This fair will be a one-stop shop for all childcare products, clothes, toys, child development products, and so much more for every child of every age.
3FM Baby Fair on the 7th July, 8th July, and 9th July 2023 at Marina Mall, Airport City, Accra.
To be a part of the fair and exhibit your products and services as a vendor, please call
0244 405027 right now.
The 3FM Baby Fair, your one-stop shop for all your childcare products. The 3FM Baby Fair is proudly brought to you by Marina Mall. 3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Welcome back. This is still Midday Live. Yao Fusulabi standing by for sports.
Well, thank you so much, George. Let's head on to the sports news this afternoon on Midday Live on TV3. To our first story, and Ghana's national under-23 team, the Black Meteors, bid farewell to the CAF Under-23 AFCON tournament in Tangier in Morocco after drawing 1-1 against Guinea at the Ibn Battuta Stadium.
Rory Keita, the goalkeeper, brings the ball forward, but rather missed.
Here for Ghana if he doesn't get back in goal quickly, and a slip from the defender as well. It's a 3-on-2 here for Ghana. Nice one-touch passing, and there's the opener out of nothing. A mistake in midfield, a slip from the defender, and Emmanuel Yeboah has notched his 3rd goal of the tournament. In fact, his 3rd goal in 2 games. Came on as a substitute in the first game for Ghana. Scored twice. The ball was given away. Then there's the slip there from Mohamed Souma. Their tournament. Whipped in, headed away. On the volley! Oh, what a strike! Guinea back on level terms. And what a strike! 30 yards out on the volley. And he's drilled it into the corner.
So that's how it ended at the Ibn Battuta Stadium. But coach of the Black Meteors, Ibrahim Tanko, says his team disappointed Ghanaians.
Yeah, I can say what happened is what caused us to concede the goal. So, like I said, it's very, very painful. 2 days ago, I know Nehemiah is going home because he told our doctor that he's injured, that he cannot play. Yeah, but he's still here and he's still part of the group. So 2 hours before we came to the stadium, he called me to tell me that he's available. Normally we plan without him, and since he told me he's available, we have to sit him on the bench, and if we need him, I think when we conceded the goal, we think he will come and help us, but unfortunately, that's not the case.
That's Ibrahim Tanko there speaking about his forward, Ernest Nuamah, there. To some more stories, and Dutch forward Memphis Depay has been in Ghana in the last few weeks, enjoying time in the off-season and helping communities across the country. He visited the Cape Coast School for the Deaf and Blind to inaugurate a new block and spend a day with the students. Here's a report. Go Ball is a sport specifically designed for athletes with vision impairment. It is designed differently from many other sports. Go Ball is played with 3 players on each side. The Go Ball floor has markings on it for easy identification, and it is played with a ball that produces a bell sound when it is rolled. One has to be extremely attentive to catch the sound of the ball when it is rolled. This was the sport Dutch forward Memphis Depay engaged in when he visited the Cape Coast School for the Deaf and Blind in the Central Region. The game brought smiles to the faces of the students and staff of the school. It was a really close game and both sides had a lot of fun showing their skill in the sport. Depay was given a rousing welcome when he entered the gates of the school. He was joined by NFL legend Brandon Marshall and Freedom Jacob Caesar. There was singing, dancing, and a joyful cheer in the air.
Today I brought a lot of people, friends, family, all over the world, just to come and support the foundation for the blind and deaf. It took time to fly out to Ghana, to meet y'all, to meet all the kids, to come today to play, and to give the energy and the spirit. On behalf of me, I really appreciate that, and I'm sure when you guys do, we'll find out that from these kids, you can learn more sometimes than from grown men.
This has somewhat become a yearly activity for the Dutch forward. He donated items to the school and catered for some of the needs of many of the students. He also teamed up with renowned barber Nikki Ochery to give free haircuts to the students and staff.
As a barber, I feel like I don't have the money and the luxury things or the big things that people give the home to the needy homes, but I know I've got skill that can equally put a smile on the kid's face. So I started going to these homes to cut the kids' hair just to make sure, just to make them happy.
In all, it was a good day for the students at the Cape Coast School for the Deaf and Blind. Another one of those days in the school they will never forget. Right, so on that note, we bring to an end the sports news this afternoon here on Midday Live on TV3. Entertainment news is up next.
News this afternoon, the Perfect Match Extra housemates were challenged to showcase their culinary prowess as part of the Thursday live show. At the end, Brownie and Oheneba emerged winners of the cooking contest. Here are some of the highlights from the show.
We've been team from the start, keeping it real. I'm in love with your attitude, girl. You know we teeth up at that, but when you give it to me, I go give it to you, yeah.
It was all fun on Thursday when the contestants at the Perfect Match reality show were tasked to put their culinary skills to test and create dishes that will wow the judges.
Oh, wow.
I'm a flexible guy, so anytime I'm doing something, it just comes inside.
Right.
You get...
I feel it, okay.
From Anguamo by Team Bella and Kodak, jollof rice by Team BB and Flush, vermicelli rice and pork sauce by Team Grace and Bebelino, rice and stew by Team Etonam and Lovelin, and fried rice by Team Brownie and Oheneba. The contestants brought their A game. It was even more exciting because they were competing with each other in the kitchen as couples.
Going on well, our stew is on fire and it's almost ready, and our venison rice too is on fire and it's almost ready.
Oh, okay. After hours of cooking and garnishing, it was now time to announce which couple had the best meal, and the judges were judging based on teamwork, neatness, presentation and taste.
So, first place with 232 marks.
Out of 300?
Out of 300.
Wonderful.
So we are happy to announce that the first position for 232 marks goes to assorted fried rice.
Oh, okay.
Debbie, man can hear cry. Hey, assorted fried rice.
Congratulations to assorted fried rice.
Over 1,300 people have been arrested across France in a fourth night of rioting after a teenage boy was killed by a police officer. There have been demonstrations in Marseille, Lyon, Grenoble and some parts of Paris. The 17-year-old's funeral takes place on Saturday in the Nanterre suburb of the capital. President Emmanuel Macron has accused protesters of exploiting the teenager's death and urged parents to keep rioting children at home. In more international news this afternoon, according to a Human Rights Watch report, a slew of extrajudicial killings, 4 disappearances and instances of torture by Burkina Faso's military has terrorized communities in the country's northeast this year. The violence took place between February and May across the province of Sino. The report identifies at least 27 people who were either summarily executed or disappeared and then killed, most of them members of the Fulani ethnic group. The UN Security Council ended a decade-old peacekeeping mission in Mali after the ruling military demanded the withdrawal of the international force battling an armed rebellion without delay. The end of the operation, known as MINUSMA, follows years of tensions and government restrictions that have hobbled peacekeeping air and ground operations since Mali teamed up with Russia's Wagner mercenary group in 2021. The 15-member council on Friday adopted a French-drafted resolution asking the mission to begin on Saturday the cessation of its operations, transfer of its tasks, as well as the orderly and safe drawdown and withdrawal of its personnel, with the objective of completing this process by December 31, 2023. Well, on that for you note, we end today's edition of Midday Live. It came to you live from the news app here at Addis Weekend. For more news updates, just log on to our website, streetnews.com. Thanks for watching. Happy New Month. It's always a pleasure coming your way. Have a good afternoon.